Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul, if Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign. This is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Seven of Swords. There are distracting forces entering your life right now. There are opinions, there are haters and instigators, there's low vibrational energy approaching. You got to block that noise out. Focus on the signal, not the noise. Okay? Protect your energy, protect your plans, protect your mental space, protect your peace. Okay? Don't share everything with everybody. Keep your plans close. Okay? This is the strategy right now. Don't reveal yourself to everybody. Be strategic. Not everybody needs to have access to your inner world. All right? Watch your step. Yeah. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. I feel like this is kind of a warning. I feel like you need to be aware of what's moving now. There's this energy coming in. Okay? Critics, criticism, resistance, the naysayers, the haters, and instigators. All right. Yeah. There's a Knight of Swords. We have the Fool, but we've got a Nine of Wands. We have an Eight of Pentacles, and we have the Emperor. Very good. Your superpower card, Aries. You've got to protect your energy, your plans, your resources. Create the structure. You don't need anybody's approval. You don't need anybody's support or opinions. If they're going to be haters, well, they can get out of here. You know what I mean? So I like this. I think this is a real blessing that we've got this energy now. We've got an Ace of Pentacles. We've got a Knight of Pentacles. We've got a 10 of Wands, and we have a 2 of Cups. So I feel like there are really wonderful, wonderful people in your life that do support you. Those are your people. The ones, you know who they are, the ones that are not going to have anything good to say, or not have anything nice or at least constructive to say or supportive, they can get the F out of here. Okay? I mean that. This is a family show, but watch your step. And I don't know if it's an older male energy. I'm kind of getting an older male vibe here. But I wonder if it is maybe even a Libra person. I don't know. Don't want to throw Libra under the bus. But I think we've got to be in our energy now. We've got to be strong. You've got to be the Emperor. Okay. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it right here with our little Tibetan prayer wheel. Right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this reading you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments below the video. As we look around the room, we see some cool stuff. We see the major arcana, the Fool and the Emperor. People may be taking you for a fool. People may think that you don't know what you're doing, okay? You're the boss, though. You're the one in charge. You're the one calling the shots here because this is your life. This is your plan. This is your shindig, okay? So interesting that we have the Fool. And the one thing about the Fool, too, is that because it's here beneath the surface, it's kind of saying that, like, you're kind of immune to the naysayers. Like, you're kind of like, it just passes right through you. It doesn't even stick, you know? kind of I'm rubber, you're glue kind of thing, where the bad vibes just bounce off of you. You're immune to, you don't take it personally, and you try to just kind of let it pass right through you. You try not to hold on to any of that negativity. So I think this is a very, very good card. At the same time, though, we just want to kind of minimize any of that negativity, because what you're doing right now is taking so much of your energy, so much of your resources. It's like you've really got to focus. You really need to be concentrated. You just don't have time or effort or energy or space for the haters and the naysayers and the instigators. All right. So we have our two major arcana cards. We have fire, fire. We've got water. We've got air and air. Earth, earth, and earth. Okay. Fairly balanced with all of the elements. The Seven of Swords, of course, is the distraction. And if the energy coming in was worthwhile, we wouldn't be calling it a distraction. It's taking your attention away from what you need to be focusing on. So right now you need privacy, caution, you need self-protection. This is an urgent warning. You need to be aware of what's moving now. Watch your step. You don't need to announce everything you're doing. Don't tell people where you're going to be at 5 o'clock on Friday night. I'll be at jiu-jitsu class. Keep your plans to yourself. Nobody needs to know your every move. You understand? You don't need to announce it all. You can move in silence, especially when you're still figuring everything out and things are maybe still in kind of the elementary stages of something. Okay? But just generally, not everybody needs access to you. You can have this inaccessibility that I think lets people know that you're not just an open book for everybody to come peruse whenever they want, like you're a public library. Okay? There's strategy here. Choose your confidants wisely, carefully. Okay? And definitely don't feel pressured into rushing. You need that Eight of Pentacles, that slow, patient movement. Maybe there is some kind of maybe somebody is trying to pressure you with a deadline or trying to get you to hurry up, or kind of like saying, well, let me just see what you have now so far. Let me see where you are in the process. And you're saying, no, let me work. Let me do my thing. Somebody's trying to draw you into some drama, maybe. There's some kind of a bovine excrement vibe around you. Don't get drawn into it. Protect your energy. Protect your time. Hold your plans close. Okay? What we have also is this Knight of Swords. And this is direct communication. This is bold thinking. You need to kind of trust in your own voice right now. You need to be decisive and clear about the choices that you're making. You can't be all twisted up or turned around in circles by these other opinions. You know what they say about opinions, right? Opinions are like armpits. Everybody's got them, and most of them stink. So basically, you have to make decisions based on your truth, and you can't listen to every other voice in the room right now. You can't listen to what everybody else thinks is going to be best for you to do. No, you know what's best for you. You know what you need to do. Okay? You need to be clear-headed, sober-minded, level-headed, and decisive and direct. You need to be on that central sword of clarity, right? The Ace of Swords is here, but it's crowded around by that noise. This is a high signal-to-noise ratio. Okay? You got to lower the volume on the noise, lift up the volume on the signal. A little audio engineering here, right? You got to raise up the gain on the signal and lower the noise. I don't know how I'm not an audio engineer. I don't know how to do that, but that's what we got to try to do anyway. Okay? Because something in your life right now needs you to attend to it. Okay? You've got to move quickly. You've got to know consequences. You got to be able to think ahead. But you don't need to get involved in any sort of entanglements or battles or debates. Okay, there's nothing to win here. You're aiming for meaning. You're aiming with a purpose. You don't care if everybody likes you or everybody agrees with you. Okay, your ideas are strong. You know what you need to do, what you need to learn. You know what movement you need to make. Okay, you've got to act with purpose here. And so we really don't have time or the desire to listen to everybody else's thoughts and opinions as it may pertain to your life path. Okay? I think that's very significant here. I do feel like there is energy coming in that's going to try to knock you off balance, throw you off course, and maybe not intentionally, okay, but some other voice that's going to try to come in, and it's going to get you to start doubting yourself. It's a thought virus that's going to get in your head, and it's going to make you question everything that you've already put in motion. And we don't need that right now. You know, that period has already sort of happened. We've got this Fool energy under the surface. This is a leap of faith. This is you trusting in the journey, trusting in yourself, trusting in this inner Fool. And, the Fool is at the edge of a dark, scary forest. And the Fool is saying, I'm not scared. I think it's funny with the challenging, uncertain step into the future. If you're not scared, then you must be a fool. You'd be a fool not to be scared, right? And I feel like that's kind of the voice that's coming in as somebody's telling you, gosh, aren't you scared? And you're thinking, well, I wasn't until you started pointing out all the things that could go wrong. Thanks a lot, jerk. I joke, but I think it's true. I think that, the Fool, it's kind of like the Wile E. Coyote energy. When you're running across the ravine, you're floating in midair. It's fine. You're going to just keep going. It's only when you stop and look around and you realize what you're doing that you plummet into the little mushroom cloud, in the cartoon. And so this momentum that you have now, this thing that you're doing, you don't need somebody to come around and say, boy, that's dangerous, or boy, that's a big risk, or gosh, aren't you scared, Aries? Come on, It's like obviously you know that it's a risk, you know that it's a leap, it's a leap of faith, it's a fresh start. You have to kind of, you're doing the brave action. You don't need somebody that to come in and say, that's a really scary thing you're doing, because that kind of that's going to make us a little bit too self-aware. The Fool has zero self-awareness. The Fool is like no mind. We don't want a lot of mindfulness because then we're going to get self-conscious, we're going to get anxious, we're going to get scared, and we're going to plummet like Wile E. Coyote. What we need is mindlessness, right? We need that kind of, we need to just be so absorbed in spirit that we're not self-conscious. It's like you're about to go out on stage and some fool comes along and says, boy, there's so many people out there. Gosh, if it were me, I'd be shaking in my boots. I couldn't do it. That's so scary out there. Look, everybody's got cameras. Oh, this is a really rough crowd out there tonight. And it's like, are they trying to sabotage you? It feels like that. Okay. Feels like they're trying to sabotage you. So, anyway, this is that sort of, I'm trying to not be scared. I'm trying to do the bold, brave thing by just picturing everybody, wearing a chicken costume or something. I'm trying to overcome my stage fright, yet somebody's sitting here in my ear telling me how scary it is out there with the big old crowd. It's a full house. The expectations are high. I heard there's a newspaper editor, critic, photographer in the audience or whatever, Everybody's watching. This is the big moment. Don't blow it. Come on, stop. All right, that's the noise that we need to block. Share your plans with supportive people that are going to uplift you and encourage you, not with the critics. Not with people that, whether through intentional sabotage or just ignorance, are going to lead you to doubt yourself. Okay? If fear does pop up, you're going to do it anyway. Start moving. Okay? This is a good path for you. So that's our Fool energy. Strength. You have strength behind you. You have strength of purpose. You have commitment. You are a very strong individual. You have a drive, a persistence. This is a strength that's saying, if I commit myself to something, I'm going to do it. It's like you've promised yourself that you're going to do it, And you're going to do it even if people try to sabotage you, or this ignorant person's going to come and tell you how scary it is, as if you didn't know. But it would be a lot easier to do without the added bovine excrement, nonsense, the noise, the haters, the instigators, the naysayers, the critics, the opinions of everybody else are just going to make it more difficult. You're still going to do it, and it's still going to be glorious, but we don't need to make it harder than it is. Okay? So why subject yourself to the naysayers if it's just going to make it harder for you to do what you need to do? Right? Subject yourself to the positive vibes. It's going to make your path easier. I think you're a lot closer than you realize. I feel like this is a fatigue. This is real effort you're putting into something. You got to set boundaries. Okay? It might be, kind of feels like it's like the final push for something. Yeah. This card's Spirit's way of saying keep going. What you're doing now is aligned perfectly with your purpose. So you need to keep going even when you're tired, even if it's scary. No matter what happens, keep doing what you're doing. Okay? There is the sun and the moon connected here, and it may feel like you're up against the world. This is you against everybody. This is you standing up and being seen. We look at this card, and you are that central sword, and that's the audience, in front of you. There is this feeling of independence here with you. There is this feeling that you're kind of up on stage by yourself. The spotlight is on you, and you've got to try to do your best. You don't need anybody coming in with any drama. Even if you're about to go on stage and here they come in with they're going to tell you something about your cat or something, right? And it's just like, no, not now. It's like, that's bad timing, They're trying to sabotage your confidence, maybe. Yeah. We're not having it, right? Boundaries. Eight of Pentacles, prudence. Apprentice type of energy, refinement of skills, discipline, methodical progress. You're trying to pay attention to the details. You're trying to do what you do correctly. It's not about just hurrying up, doing it fast. When you're trying to really concentrate and do something perfectly, and then somebody comes in, they start talking about sports or the weather or some other, maybe an emotionally charged conversation, and then you're like, God, you made me mess up. You're trying to paint a picture, and somebody comes in really loud and starts telling you about some drama that happened at work or something, and then it breaks your concentration, and you mess up on your painting or something. That's frustrating, right? You're trying to be meticulous. You're trying to do things the right way. Remove the distractions. Close the shop. Close the blinds, put up the do not disturb sign, ask your people not to bother you while you do the thing, put your earbuds in or whatever, and get the noise canceling headphones and just focus. Okay? The details matter right now. If somebody comes in and distracts you, you're going to forget to sign something, you're going to forget to check off the box, and it's going to be a very simple and avoidable and preventable mistake that's going to ruin everything. Watch your step right now. There's the potential for you to overlook a very simple detail because somebody's talking in your ear, and then you're going to mess up and you're not even going to realize it until it's too late. And I don't want that to happen to you. Okay? You have to pay attention to what you're doing. It's something, it's going to be, and it's so frustrating when that happens. When it's like you forgot to just put the date on your signature. You forgot to check off one stupid box on the form, and now you got to do the whole thing over again, or you missed the deadline, or it's like, now you got to start the whole process all over again, or now they denied your application because you forgot to sign your name. You were distracted at the time. Don't let that happen. Okay? Be the emperor. The emperor is the one that's calling the shots. It's boundaries, first and foremost. It's structure, it's discipline, it's leadership. You're choosing the priority, and you're going to ignore everything else. You're choosing the central sword, and everything else is going to be banished from your consciousness. Literally banished from the room. Everybody out. I'm filling out a form. That's the vibe. That's the vibe. You're creating structure. You're setting a time block. You're making a list. You're making some rules. You're saying from 5 to 6 p.m. nobody bother me because I'm going to be working on this very important thing. I'm doing taxes or something here. Set the boundary. And I don't know if this is something specific or if it's generally just saying like you let in too many distractions in your work and it's causing the quality of your work to go down. You've got to set that boundary that you've been avoiding. Simplify your life. We don't need that 7 of Swords. It's too complicated. It doesn't need to be. You're trying to sit there and do your math homework. You got your phone going, music is playing, the TV is on, the dog's here, your friends are here playing video games and talking to you, and you're having conversation. That's too much. It's too complicated. There's no way that you could do quality work. You could get your homework done in 2 seconds if you didn't have all those distractions. Okay? So clear your space. Okay? Your stability is going to be built through that kind of discipline and that consistent structure. Now, I want you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. These readings are totally free. Let me know which card on the Path of the Dove resonates with you the most. We're going to do an Oracle of Manifestation before we continue with the Path of the Serpent. Blessed growth. Stay firmly rooted in your intentions and reach for the sky. Say out loud, I nurture my dreams. Type it in the comments. I nurture my dreams. Okay? Whatever this is, it matters. So you can block out all the noise, all the distractions. They don't matter. Those other opinions, those other voices are going to make you mess up. They're going to interrupt the flow. You're trying to nurture your dream here. You got an Ace of Discs. This is the root. Stay rooted in your intentions. This is growth. This is stability. This is the foundation. This is a seed that's being planted. Could be money, work, could be health, could be something at home. This is that. The most important thing to you right now is this step that you're doing, this form you're filling out, this phone call you have to make, this page of your homework, or just this math problem. This is the thing that matters. This is one thought, one word, and one deed that's going to affect your future. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty like, okay, everybody out of the room because I'm just about to sign my name on the form here, Everybody out of the room because I'm doing my homework. And this really connects with the Knight of Pentacles because the Knight of Pentacles is karma. The Knight of Pentacles is looking into the future thinking, who am I, where am I, and what am I doing down the road? The Knight of Pentacles knows that the future version of you and the future version of your life is being built with every thought, word, and deed of the present moment. Everything you do right now is creating your future life and your future self. And this is one point event in space and time. This moment right now is creating your future. That's significant. Every moment matters. Every moment matters. Okay? You're investing in this moment. And this is something real. It's something that you need to pay attention to because it's going to grow and it's going to change your world. Okay? And I don't know what it is. You're about to, you're doing something online, you're about to publish your first YouTube video or something, or the next YouTube. I know when I'm doing the YouTube stuff, when I'm uploading videos and scheduling videos, I need to have quiet. Because there's so many things, I'm like copy and paste in, I'm putting the time schedule and things. I don't want to mess up. I make a mistake and then your reading comes out at 6 p.m. instead of 6 a.m. And then I get a bunch of emails and comments saying, hey, where the heck's the reading, And I don't want to do that. I want to be consistent. Okay? And I know that's not a life, it doesn't really affect much. But 12 hours is a long time when we're expecting our readings at a certain, in a certain cadence. So anyway, that is our ace, but our knight is really the ticket here. Because we know that everything that's happening right now is affecting the future. So we need stable actions. This is about long-term thinking. And somebody might say, well, what does it matter now? Maybe it doesn't matter now, but it's going to affect the way things play out. Whatever happens now, the quality of the work that's done now is going to affect your future. Maybe this is at work. Maybe this is you trying to just focus and do your job. A high quality work. And there's so many people just gossiping around you. You've got to be able to block that noise out because you're trying, and maybe it's just like, it's not a guarantee that a mistake is going to happen. But when it does, you're going to know that it probably wouldn't have if you weren't distracted. Every day that goes by where a mistake doesn't get made, we're lucky. It will. The odds are that it will. This is kind of a leadership. I feel like you're kind of setting the example here. But this is, again, the long-term considerations. You're making financial and life choices that are going to affect your future self. So why would you do that when your mind is being pulled in all these different directions by so many different people? Ask yourself in the moment, if I screw this up, what's that going to cost me? Okay? Every mistake is going to cost you something. And if we get through it with no mistake, we're lucky. But we could also ask, how much better would it have been if I wasn't distracted? Maybe, no mistakes were made, everything was fine. But it could have been way better, probably, if we weren't distracted. You know what I mean? So we may be limiting the quality of our work because of the environment, because of the noise that's around us. It's not just that, I didn't make a mistake, thank you, I got lucky. It's not about trying to avoid doing a poor job. It's about trying to do the best job that we can right now. In whatever you're doing, maybe you're painting, maybe you're making music, maybe you are, doing something on the computer, you're programming, you're designing websites, I don't know. Maybe you're at work. Maybe you're at a desk. I don't know. How much is it going to cost you? Not in losses, but in revenue that's not realized. Unrealized gains. Okay? Let that sink in. Your work is meaningful. It deserves your full attention. And having patience is not a delay. Maybe somebody's coming and telling you, hurry up, we need those TPS reports. And you're saying, they're going to be done when they're done. Okay? They're going to be done when they're ready, not when you say they're done. You don't have anything to prove. You're just focused on the quality. Yeah, you've got a grounded, confidence about you right now. And I think that you are being rushed by somebody, perhaps, or somebody coming in with some very distracting energy. You're trying to be slow and steady, wins the race. Yeah. And, of course, the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is telling me that working with another person right now is going to feel like more of a burden than a help. This is you working by yourself. This is saying two's a crowd. Yeah, because you got this ace. I mean, well, it looks like an ace. I always call this the Two of Wands and this the Ace of Wands, right? Because it is. You're the ace. And everybody else is everybody else. This is two against the world. But you don't want that. This is the position of the obstacle, the difficulty. I think for a lot of you, there's somebody that's trying to help you. Big, exaggerated air quotes. Somebody's trying to help you, but they're just making it way more difficult for you. And so maybe you have to be next to this person. Maybe you don't. I think either way, you got to find a way to politely ignore them. Put your earbuds on. Put your noise-canceling headphones on. Because it doesn't seem like they're really pulling their weight anyway. And this is you feeling the weight on your shoulders. Okay? And I don't think that you're asking for any kind of help. I think that you're just going to carry it all by yourself. And then you'll rest afterwards. It's interesting that our only water energy here is at the end. And it's because I feel that you're not trying to be rude to anybody. And it may really just be that, it's kind of like your family is trying to talk to you and engage with you while you're trying to do your very important work. And then you don't want to be rude. You don't want to snap or lash out or, be abrasive or anything toward the people that you love. But you do need to focus. Okay? So this may be about very politely doing your work, and then when you're done, after this very important moment, this very important point event, then you can, put your work down and say, okay, come here, what are we doing? What are we talking about? What do you guys need? There's the love then, This may be really like a family thing. It may just be, it may be something at work that it's not personal. I don't think we're taking it personally. I mean, there is a lot of love in the room, but at the same time, we don't feel like we're being helped by any of this other energy. So we're trying to figure out ways to simplify and streamline. Okay? Trying to drop all the noise, all the drama, all the entanglements, all the burdens that are not essential to your path right now. You got to watch your step. There's you're doing something important. I know that. Simplify. Don't make this process or this work more difficult for you than it needs to be. It's already very difficult. I think whoever this other person is, I feel like it's kind of like an older male. I feel like they're just making it more difficult. It's kind of like when your spouse tries to help you with the dishes or something in the kitchen. It's like, just, let me do it myself. I got this. Not that we don't appreciate it or we don't want the help or I really love that. But at the same time, you got your own system down. You kind of know how you're doing it, and you could get it done faster if you were to just do it yourself, right? This feels like that's kind of the energy that's coming, okay? The Two of Cups kind of echoes that as well, because I do feel there's a lot of love. And just generally speaking, I think that this is a message to embrace those people or those energies or those connections that bring you love and bring you support and bring you affection and bring you upliftment, rather than giving any time or attention to those things that just drag you down. We want to be surrounded by supportive people, not critics, not the naysayers, the haters, or the instigators. Okay? So cherish those quality bonds. Okay. Choose the connections that feel genuine and feel uplifting and feel encouraging and feel supportive and loving. Okay. And avoid any of those entanglements that are just mere distractions. And any of those connections that are going to make your life harder, more difficult. This should be very supportive, loving people, environment, people, places, things that are going to make your job easier. You're trying to concentrate on something. Maybe you don't need heavy metal music. Maybe you need some light classical music, right? Or some smooth jazz, some nice saxophone. You know, whatever's going to help you. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe whenever you're in the gym, you need some heavy metal music. So it's really about what's going to support you and what's going to just distract you or drain away your energy, or make it harder for you to perform. Make it more difficult for you to do what you need to do right now. Let's look at the mystery card. That's what we need to do. I don't know what this is going to be. I feel like it could be a 9 or a 10 of Pentacles. Could be a 6 of Swords. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Hierophant. The Hierophant is kind of the result of the 8 of Pentacles. The refinement, the craftsmanship. You're becoming a master of your craft. Okay, so maybe this is about study. Maybe not formal education. Maybe you're not in school or university or something. It doesn't have to be formal education. But it could be personal development. It could be education, training, craftsmanship, refinement, growth toward mastery. It could be your spiritual practice. It could be, I'm trying to meditate. I don't need distractions while I'm trying to meditate. You know? So when you're trying to meditate, it's hard enough to just meditate. It's hard enough to ignore the distractions in here. We don't need to have all these distractions out here too. That's just making life way more difficult than it needs to be. So if you're trying to meditate, you don't want to do it in the middle of a busy parking lot. You don't want to do it in the middle of a carnival. You don't want to have the TV going, the radio on, your friends around, and all this other stuff. No, you want to do it in a quiet room, probably, right? It seems like those are the ideal conditions that are conducive to and supportive of your intention. Because it's hard enough to deal with the distractions in here. It's hard enough to concentrate. I don't need the radio blaring in my face at the same time if that's something you can control. So I feel like this does have something to do with either a spiritual practice, a craft, some kind of learning process, some kind of a practice that you're doing. If it's like this is when you're journaling, you don't want to be distracted. You're praying, you don't want to be distracted, meditating. You're reading, you don't want to be distracted. Okay. Very interesting energy. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, there's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Aries on Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I love you. I thank you. And we're all in this together.